Speaking with Rowan Ramsey, the member for Grey. How's it going out there on the campaign trail, Rowan?
Oh, going very well, thanks, Ricky. It's always good to spend a bit more time out of the office talking to people, which you tend to get in election time. So, and people are a little bit more focused on what's going on around them. So it's good to be. I'm in Whyalla at the moment. We had a good announcement this morning around the local residential care facility, $10 million for a big upgrade there. So that's been a good morning's work.
People certainly appreciate federal funding announcements within electorates where they can see and touch or drive on the benefits of that. But the Coalition's been talking today about 450,000 regional jobs, which is important for regional Australia.
Well, absolutely. This is, on building on our track record. I think since we came to government in 2013, there are 1.9 million more jobs in Australia now than what there were then. Now, there's more people in Australia, but it's been a spectacular result, and of course we've got that 4% unemployment. So we're targeting another 1.3 million jobs over the next 5 years, and we think the split on that will end up with that $450,000 in the regional areas. And of course, because this is where, and I'm in Whyalla today, but this is where a lot of the potential for the growth of our economy comes from, is for our regions, where we've got a whole lot of industries that are chafing at the bit to grow, and we will help them grow, particularly in I think modern manufacturing. There's some big openings there because we're going to have to invent some new industries that tack onto the ones that are already successful that we have.
Yeah, well, we've got that plant protein announcement. I think the federal funding came behind, which we're expecting to land in terms of a processing facility somewhere around Bowmans, for instance.
Well, that's exactly it. I think it's 107 million. That one, you catch me on the hop a bit, but from my memory, it's 107 million. And for over $200 million worth of investment there from three different companies. And I expect one or possibly two of those facilities to be on the Adelaide Plains, which is, of course, in Grey. And that's a fantastic outcome. But just to be doing stuff that we haven't previously done in Australia. We're actually importing this product, but we've got the raw materials here. So basically, if you want protein extracts, we send our chickpeas off somewhere overseas. Somebody crushes them up and does whatever they have to do within in the system, and then we buy that stuff back in. Well, we're going to short circuit that. So and we'll have this modern manufacturing initiative is targeting a lot of those types of opportunities. I think we'll probably have something to announce a bit later on in the week around some things happening on Eyre Peninsula out of that fund as well. And I'm not going to bring you on what that is today, Ricky, but it'll be good news.
Yeah, we'll watch that one with bated breath. But when it comes to this 450,000 jobs, I guess it's never possible for that to be equally shared across every federal electorate. But you'd like to think at least 9,000 of those as a share would go out to the seat of Grey with about 50 regional electorates.
Well, I don't know what you did your maths on there, but I'd be hoping probably for more than that. Because there's only about 60 regional seats in Australia. The rest are all in the city, so I don't know how that divides up. I haven't done that, son. But Grey covers like an area that is bigger than New South Wales. So I'd expect to be getting a really good result here. What we need to do is break down the barriers for private equity money to invest in industries, and we can partner up and do all these kinds of things. But we actually need people that are interested in the opportunities we have. And for instance, we've got a package on the development of critical minerals, and we've already announced some money to assist Rediscore develop the graphite mine at Arno Bay. And like graphite's one of the new trendy elements that we need for the construction of a whole lot of things in the battery industry. So that's the kind of area that we can actually really target on now, where Australia has the ability to outperform the rest of the world.
I get the impression when the Coalition talks about regional Australia, it is often talking about mining jobs and opportunities, some of which are in the north of the country, but you're saying there's benefits on the sort of value adding on the agricultural side as well in Grey?
Well, I think there's a lot to come on that. I mean, we've got one of them, centred in South Australia, we have one of the most successful value adds in agriculture, and it goes under everyone's radar. It's called the wine industry. Now, we've had some issues with our trade arrangements with China, which have been tough on the wine industry, but it's there for the long haul. But I think there's a lot more we can do, and of course that the announcement we made about that protein plant that we've already covered off on, those protein plants, is I think a really good indicator of what we can do here in Australia. I think there's a whole lot of products that we import that the current difficulties in the world of COVID's interruptions to supply chain, and of course our fairly difficult relationship with our major trading partner at the moment, have highlighted that we need to develop our own local capacity in these areas. Now, the government is very targeted and focused on those areas, and I expect to see us keep working in that direction and making more funds available through initiatives like the Critical Supply Industry Modern Manufacturing initiative, the supply chain project, which is actually making sure that we've got good path to market, good information systems that are superior to most of what's operating in the rest of the world.
All right, well, plenty of time to go until the 21 May election. We'll look forward to more announcements and maybe some more high-profile visits to the electorate of Grey before the 21st of May.
Well, certainly I welcome those. I always say I've had a really good run of visits from ministers and prime ministers through the last period, through this parliament, I suppose. When it comes to electioneering, the problem with Grey is it takes people a day to get there, and then you haven't even arrived at the destination. So more often than not, they are focused in the more populated areas, but I am expecting some senior ministers in later this week there.